So I was sitting at my home and thinking to myself, gee, what would be a good video to start on my YouTube account? And wouldn't you know it, the horrors of working retail came to mind. And yeah, I definitely have a lot to say regarding that. So after I finished my college education, which I'll be saying in quotes since it was barely education and barely college level, I decided it was time to get a job. And since my piece of crap college certification won't do squat, I knew I would have to settle for a retail job. Now, I knew retail jobs suck, but let's be honest, when it comes to your first job, it's either that or working fast food. And I told myself long ago that I would never work at a fast food joint. I was hoping to get a stock position because that way I can avoid having to deal with people and I can just work in the back and chill for the most part. Of course, since this is my life we're talking about, things did not work that way. Somebody I knew worked at an up store and put in a good word for me. I got the interview and boom, I was hired. This was my first job, so I learned a lot of the skills that I knew I would need for my future job, so I appreciated that a lot. Plus, the manager I had at the time was a funny guy who was into D&D, so I found that amusing. Some of the skills I learned at the job was the ability to hate answering stupid phone calls, having customers complain about things you're not responsible for, and the ability of dreading to come to work every day. Skills which I still have to this day, and frankly I'm still using. But let's get to the nitty gritty and share some of my experiences working retail, which if you're listening, you probably don't have anything different from what I have to say. One of the most frequent complaints we got was that we were so expensive. So the stores are franchises, which the owner got to decide how much the packing, mailbox, and the office supplies would cost. Oh, and making copies, because that was the thing. But yeah, pretty much he would decide how much that would cost. Shipping, on the other hand, was calculated using software that the Up Store Incorporated sent us. So I constantly have to deal with people arguing about, oh, why does it cost 10 something dollars just to pack up a phone? Hell, to pack and ship something overnight could cost $50 or more depending on where it's going. We also got the classic phone call of people asking us, oh, are you guys open? I had to resist the urge of saying, no, we're closer. I just live here and I just love answering your stupid calls. But there is one moment in my almost what feels like 3 years working there that takes the cake. So there I was chilling behind the counter, waiting for something to do, and two customers walked into the store. It was an old lady and I guess her grandson who was carrying a small box, came up to me. Me, being the professional that I am, and pretty much being a good employee, greeted them and asked them, what can I do for them? The old hag, which for the sake of this video I'm going to call Helga, yells at me, the driver delivered this package to my house, and the person doesn't live there no more. Now policy states that we are not allowed to take it. We're not allowed to take refused packages. The driver has to go and pick it up where they left it. Once I told her that, she started throwing a tantrum. I just lost my husband, and now you're giving me a hard time, she said, and I can notice that she was almost starting to cry. Now, I was trying to be nice. I told her that I was sorry to hear that, but I can't take the package. If I do that, it will just arrive back at her place, and we'll be back at the same scenario. Then she just said some magic words. She yelled at me, go to hell. I yelled back, oh, you mean like your husband did? Okay, I didn't say that, but man, did she piss me off, and I wanted to say that, but restraint. That's one thing you need in retail, restraint. I stood my ground, and she angrily walked away. The grandson apologized, which was nice of him. I told him not to worry about it, and he left too. Yeah, I told him not to worry about it, but let's be honest, I told him, yeah, you should worry about that, because if she comes back into the store, I'm going to grab one of these box cutters, and I'm going to turn that frown upside down, if you catch my drift. But no, I kept that all to myself, restraint. I'm a good employee. But when it comes to working retail, honestly, the war just never changes, man.